Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.
What are the most common 3 ways I see runners lose all their fitness after they get an ankle sprain? Well, that's what we're talking about today on the Doc on the Run podcast. Well, the first thing that happens when you roll your ankle is obviously it hurts, so you want to protect it. In fact, the sort of algorithm that we use to routinely treat ankle sprains, and what we're taught in med school is PRICE, P-R-I-C-E. So that's protection, meaning don't roll it again and don't make it worse. Rest it, ice it, use compression to keep it from swelling, and elevate it to get the fluid out if it's really swollen. So the first part of that, of course, is protection. And what I really see as the biggest mistake is that because ankle sprains are so common, and I think they're kind of underappreciated. So what happens is you're a runner, you're out on a trail, you roll your ankle, or maybe you're just like, out for a walk and you step in a tree well on the sidewalk, or you roll off the edge of a cutout on a driveway and you roll your ankle. And because it's just a minor thing, you think you don't worry about it too much. And what happens is that if you don't act fast enough and you really kind of dismiss it as an episode initially, you get a lot of swelling. And if you don't do something to prevent that swelling, which is the compression and elevation and some other things you can do, well, then that actually makes it take a whole lot longer before it gets better. It also many times can turn into swelling on the inside of the ankle joint. And then when you're running, you're basically pinching the swollen tissue on the inside of the ankle, and it causes even more swelling, and it lingers, and it sort of forces you to run a whole lot less. That's the first thing. So first thing is not acting fast enough to control the swelling when you roll your ankle because you don't take it seriously enough. The second thing is that if you have an ankle sprain and the next day it's fine, but then that's great. But if you don't have that scenario, then you may wait too long to get the correct diagnosis or an opinion, and you might wind up with an exponential loss in fitness just because you think it's sprained, but then you're kind of in the back of your mind, you're worried, is it broken? Might I have like a subtle fracture there? I know I talk a lot about the lateral process fractures that are in the research study that I did where I won an award from the American College of Foot and Ankle Surgeons for that research. Well, we found out that the ankle sprains that are this little subtle fracture that's sometimes misdiagnosed as an ankle sprain is more than 10 times more common than previously thought. It's almost 10% of all ankle injuries. And if you have one of those and you treat it like an ankle sprain, well, it's a fracture. So it's different and it can continue to hurt for a long time. So if you think you need to get x-rays, well, you should get x-rays. And if you called me and I would show you how to do that over the webcam. And then if you're in California, Texas, or Florida, then I would basically order x-rays for you and we could look at them on a computer so that you could see whether or not you had a fracture and figure out if you're moving in the right direction or if you need to do something more drastic. The third thing is that you don't rehabilitate it fully and you sprain it again and get a way worse injury later. This is unbelievably common. And in the ankle sprain course for runners, I teach you all about what to do initially, but I also really talk about the things you need to do to make sure that your ankles are more stable, because you will have inherent instability that can be lifelong if you don't treat this appropriately. And it is easy to do. You don't have to go to physical therapy. You could do it at home, but you've got to do some very specific things. But if you don't do that, what happens is you have a little bit of, because you stretch out the ligaments and they're a little more loose, you're running and it's a little more prone to roll in the first place. And when it does the second time or the third time, it rolls with higher force and does more tissue damage. And that can really keep you off of running a whole lot longer. So in short, those are the 3 reasons that I see runners lose their fitness unnecessarily just because of something as simple as an ankle sprain. Now, if you want to learn more about ankle sprains, you want to take a deep dive into this, there's a whole talk I put together for you that you can go through. It's the Ankle Sprain Masterclass for runners. It's free. You can get it at docontherun.com/ankle sprain masterclass. So go check it out, and I'll see you in the training.
Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.